welcome to Power Fridays Live, the channel that aims to make a difference in the world through transformation, spiritual growth, and for entrepreneurs. Our vision is to empower individuals to live their lives with purpose and to make a positive impact on the world. We believe that power and purpose are the driving forces behind success and fulfillment in both personal and professional life. Through our broadcast, we discuss business strategies and techniques that can help entrepreneurs achieve their goals and take their business to the next level. We believe that through sharing knowledge and experience, we can empower each other to succeed and make a difference in the world. Now here's our host, Janelle Pulley.
Welcome to Power Fridays Live, and I'm super excited for you guys to be with us tonight. As I know that you can be anywhere on a Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, but you chose to be here with us live, either on Facebook or YouTube. We really do appreciate your support, and thank you so much for being here. I am so happy to welcome our guest, and his name is Jason Humphreys Kinte. He has an extensive background, and so we are so looking forward to having the conversation about dreams, about life, about living. This is January in 2024. So therefore, whenever we look at the new year, we look at the new year, and we're always looking at, oh well, what am I going to do differently from this year, from last year? You're looking at, it's like, oh well, I want to do this differently in my life, or I have a dream to do this, or I have a goal to do this, or I have a desire to do X, Y, and Z. So we're going to talk about how there are some biblical principles associated with how you wish to live your vision, your dreams, and obtain your goals, your dreams and desires. Because it does take a being understanding your purpose and knowing, like, what are you here for on earth to manifest and help make things be better for other people. So we're super excited to be having that conversation tonight with Jason. He has a wealth of information, a wealth of experience, and has various challenges. And he's an author of Your Gifted Think Freely, and a course which teaches the 7 biblical principles for success in life. He won scholarships for this, awards for academics, and he's now retired, and he retired himself in Antigua, and set up scholarship. So we're going to talk about more about his life, about what he's accomplished, and he has a passion for creative arts, including writing and acting, and started a poets club in Toronto, Canada. So he also started the Dream Decade Challenge, challenging people all over the world to dream big dreams for the decade, write them down, and live them. So we're going to dive deep into looking at introspectively what your dreams are. Do you have them written down? Are you wanting to live them? So that's the conversation we're going to have tonight. It's like, what do we need to do to get what to reconnect it to our dream? I, as a young girl, dreamt to become an actress. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do one day. But I didn't pursue that dream, and I didn't even know if was it a dream, or was it a desire, was it a goal, or was it just something that, in that moment I desired to do, or I wanted to do, or I thought that my life would give me. It's like, oh, I want to become an actress, but I didn't become an actress. I guess that dream was not big enough, for me to become an actress. But what are you dreaming? What can you imagine for yourself and for your life, to where you are now dreaming big and living your dream, or moving towards your dream to make your dream a reality? Let's wake up and make our dreams a reality. So, we're waiting for Jason to get connected. He's having some technical difficulties, but he should be joining us here any moment now. And I wanted to also, share with you that being January, a lot of things happen to where you want to have a different goal in 2024 and do things differently. I said that earlier, than you did last year. You want to make this your best year ever. And what do you need to do that? What habits do you need to change, or what habits do you desire to do differently, this year than you did last year? Of course, we've heard it all before. It's like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's a what definition of insanity. But at the end of the day, it's just that your life is remaining the same. If you continue to do the same thing over and over and over and then expect a different result, you don't get the result. But you absolutely have to have a desire and dream to get you have to take action to get your result. And in this case, we like to say here on Power Fridays Live, taking massive action towards your goals. Because success, people have told you, probably you've heard it maybe, that success loves speed. But I tell you, I was watching a television program the other day, and there were people who were conducting, putting something together, and they're like, we're going to take our time and put this together. When they took their time and put it together, it was beautiful. The outcome was just very nicely put together. But then you had the other couple that were putting things together that was really quick, really fast. Everything broke down, and they were like, "Well, let's do it fast, fast, fast. Let's go fast, 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 and get it done." Well, when they were moving super fast, then they missed things. So they looked at the other beautiful result, and they were like, well, how did you get that result? Well, they're were saying because we took our time to get this result. So as you're dreaming, as success comes your way, we know success loves speed, but at the same time, taking your time to make things right, to put things in place, to have everything work together for the good of those who love the Lord, of course, and are called according to his purpose, to have that purposeful rendition, they're worked out. So I'm going to welcome to the stage Jason Humphreys Kinte, and he will be sharing with us his story about his purpose. And welcome, Jason Humphreys Kinte from freedomacademy.com. And I've already given everyone a little bit of background about yourself, but welcome to Power Fridays Live, and we do appreciate you for being with us this evening, as you could have been anywhere in the world. And thank you so much for being with us live here.
TGITD, thank God it's this decade. I'm happy to be here, and thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to learn more about you and more about your story. I know in this global world and global society that we met virtually, and this is our second or third time face to face here in the virtual world. So, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you grew up in the wonderful North America?
Sure. My parents, first of all, are from this lovely island of Antigua. As you can see, I'm at Big Banana. It's one of my favorite restaurants here. So they have some really good pizza, but it's in lovely Caribbean. So I just flew in back again 2 days ago, so like Wednesday. My arms are still tired. But Antigua is where my dad won scholarships from, and my mom was a teacher here. And my mom's still alive. My dad was a scholarship winner. My dad got such good marks at grammar school in Antigua that when he was away, the Latin teacher would not teach because Bernard Humphreys was away. I said, good thing he was only away one day. My dad got such good marks. They told me this story my whole life, and I just said, they must be just exaggerating because it sounded too incredible. But I came back down here about maybe 5 years ago, and it was after my dad had passed away. My uncle took me to meet the guy that was in my dad's second form math class. They have grammar school, it's a British system, so they have forms instead of grades, like Form 1 to Form 5 in grammar school. He said that he actually was working at a bank then in his 70s. I said, you're working at a bank in your 70s? You didn't learn anything about money, but it's good to keep working because I retired and went back to work. But anyway, he said he was in my dad's second form math class when he witnessed what I had heard my whole life. He said he was there when the fifth form math teacher was stuck on a problem. And he called for my dad, Bernard Humphreys. from 3 grades below. My dad went up, solved the problem for the class and the teacher, and went back down to his class and didn't miss a beat. I said, how could he miss anything? He would have told the teacher, you're going to have to stop teaching. Because I know my dad, because if I have to go up and do the work for the teacher 3 grades up, it wouldn't be fair. If I miss the lesson and I have to copy off these students that take bad notes, that's like copying How to Be President of Donald Trump. You know, listen, because he said he wouldn't be fair, I wouldn't get perfect on the next step. And so if you're going to copy How to Be President of the United States, copy out Barack Obama. He had 2 terms and he didn't teach the nuclear documents. So basically, I'm sure my dad would have said he's going to have to stop teaching because it wouldn't be fair. So those are the kind of stories I heard about my dad. My dad got so they said he was going to be Prime Minister of Canada. But unfortunately, he passed away at 70. He finished reading the Bible. I finished reading the Bible beside his hospital bed about streets of gold and everything in heaven, and I looked up and he died. But my father, I did this poem at my dad's funeral, and his favorite one, can I share it?
Sure, please do.
It was my dad's favorite poem. Our Toronto Poets Poetry Shows, we did over 100 Toronto Poets Increase the Peace poetry shows from 2002 to 2010. My dad would be sitting in the front row when I did this poem. My father taught me how to live. My father taught me how to give. My father taught me to the light in doing what's right. My father taught me how to write and how to recite. My father taught me how to think. My father helped me to not sink when I tried to stay afloat. When I was drowning, he threw me that life-saving rope. He taught me to avoid dope, to never try sniffing coke. He taught me never to get drunk and to never start to smoke. My father taught me to instead get high on life, and he taught me that even when times were rough, if I followed his advice, I'd still always be ahead. I made my mistakes, but my father forgave and taught me to pray for forgiveness. Before I went to bed, my father was my coach and made me the MVP. My father taught me how to study and learn how to be, yet to never settle for a B when I got 97% in grade 9 math. My father asked me what happened to the other 3. Bernard Humphreys, it wasn't easy. So I got 100% in grade 10 math to make a father proud of me. My father taught me how to learn and earn my degree in life. All the G. My father taught me how to see the goodness in his family and humanity. My father taught me how to live. My father taught me to forgive because he constantly had to forgive me. He taught me all that he could, and then he set me free to explore humanity, even though he knew I would die someday. Because humanity would not always be how we all knew that humanity should be. My father loved me and taught me how to love, and knew that humanity would not always be as loving as he was to me. So my father sacrificed me. My father set me free. My father taught me to love him, and even those who hated me as much as he loved me, and to do and to all that I would do unto me, my father, earth through my love, Bernard Humphreys. He was born here in Johnson's Point, Antigua, May 15th, 1944. And he passed away November 27, 2014 at the age of 70. Finished reading the Bible at his hospital bed and he died. So I got to be by his side when he died because he was by my side growing up. And that's why I was able to retire a millionaire with $1 million exit at 45 and teach the 7 biblical principles for success in life that won me 7 scholarships in 96 and helped me retire with $1 million exit at 45 to Antigua and fund my scholarship program and Freedom Academy. I'm the only one in the world that's because my dad, Father on earth whom I love, and my Father above. I thank you, Father.
Well, thank you so much. I want to do the snaps for the poem. It was beautiful. Thank you so much, Jason. And Mike, I know that when we lose a loved one, the loved one is never technically lost. They move on and become our ancestors and help pave the way. And we always have the beautiful memories. So thank you so much for sharing the beautiful memory that you had with your dad and all the good things that you get to hear about your dad and how he raised you. And so, where were you raised since your family is originally from Antigua? So, where did you grow up?
Toronto, Ontario. That's why I was president of Toronto Poets from 2002 to 2010. We were active. Then I started penspowerclub.com globally in 2011. So it was Toronto, and that's where I started the Increase the Peace campaign in 2002, doing poetry shows for Toronto Poets. Love, peace, and freedom, increase the peace. So my dad and my mom met. They're both from Antigua, but they met after they immigrated to Canada in Toronto at an Antiguan event.
Okay, very good. So you were immigrants from a family of immigrants in Toronto, Canada, and has writing been all the part of your life, growing up?
Yes, I wrote my first book in grade 5 in 1988. My teacher, Miss Peterson, she had us all write a book. I don't know if anybody else has foretold their life, but mine is my life story. It's about a little boy named David. It's called David in the Well. And David was too poor to be able to afford to go to school. And I know it's inspired by God because I went to public school growing up in Canada. And public school is free, even our healthcare is free for a long time. But he couldn't afford to go to school. So he was working in the woods. And then he came upon a well and he started wishing for things. So he wished for 3 friends and he got them in a toy plane and he got it in a bag of candies. I didn't have nutritional sense, so please forgive me. And so then he decided to wish for something more substantial. So he went to the well and he said he wished that he could go to school. And lo and behold, the next day his parents were able to afford to send him to school. And at school he learned what prime ministers do. And he said, wow, they have power. So they thought that he'd want to be prime minister. So then he went to the well and he said, this time I wish that I'm prime minister. And he woke up and he was grown. Just like kids, right? Don't care about all these years. He lost all these years of his life, right? Those are the
Yes.
young, nice, youthful years. But he was grown and he was prime minister. It was a powerful wow. But then a servant came to the door and said, Mr. Prime Minister, we have a problem. He said, oh, what is it? His first national crisis. And he said, the people from where you grew up at the door to see you. And he went to the door. And there were his family and friends he had grown up with. But still poor and tattered clothing. And he said, oh my gosh, I forgot to wish for anything for you. He was selfish. So then he rushed back to the well, and I drew driving in a limo, right? Went back to the well, and he said, this time I wish that everybody's happy, not just me. And he woke up, and he was a kid again. But his family and friends weren't poor anymore. And that was the end of the story. Wrote that in grade 5. And that's the story of my life. It's my life's purpose, to help people not be poor anymore. So the mission statement written down for PennsPowerClub.com and Dream Livers Club Inc., which PennsPowerClub.com and FreedomAcademy.com, which we just launched January 1st. It's the longest term, it's the best online life strategy, relationship strategy, business strategy, because I don't know if there's another one, okay? But it's the longest term strategic planning. You plan your whole career, you plan your whole life, you plan your whole relationship, everything, your purpose. It's to help people rise, to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and live their God-given dreams. And we do that by reading books, writing books, and soaring and living our God-given dreams. So I started PennsPowerClub.com in 2011. 1 year after I had to sell my house at 33, pay off the debts for Toronto Poets because I had a nonprofit mindset. And I made a nonprofit in 2007, so it cost me my house. In 2010 at 33, Jesus' life over 80. So I sold my house. My financial life was over, but it was resurrected. I started reading. I saw one guy, he sold one website domain. Well, first in 1999, 2 kids, they sold one website domain for $1 million. That year, there was a run on domain Z.com, sold for $6.8 million. So I said, if they can do that, I can do better. So I bought all the most valuable domains, spelled PHRE, and I just worked for free Shares Incorporated to share the gospel. Bible's the business plan. So I did that from 99. But then I made Toronto Poets a club in 2002. 1 year after I graduated with distinction from the University of Toronto in 2001 with my Bachelor of Commerce, Management, Economics, and French. But then I made it a nonprofit in 2007 because I didn't have a coach. I didn't do any business planning. I didn't, basically read any business books, even though I graduated from business studies. But so then in 2010, I said, I need to learn how to make money and how to budget, how to plan, how to do business. Because that's not good just me losing my mom's house, too. Not just even mine. It's my mom and my mother's house.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so that's not good, okay? So from my mom's apartment, I started reading because one guy on the internet, he said he was broke and homeless. And then he read one book, Think and Grow Rich, and he became a millionaire. I said, if he can do that, I can do better. So I read Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Law of Success, Law of Happiness by Dr. Henry C. Cloud, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, Launch My Dream by Dale Partridge. Over 100 books now. And I reworked my mindset. And all of these books, it's the same biblical principles. So
Yes.
that's why I teach just 7 biblical principles that all of these books have that won me 7 scholarships. And in 2016, I bought another house for $500,000. And in the pandemic, I got let go to rent out. It's called house hacking. Learned it from Think and Grow Rich. So they pay, the tenants pay your mortgage. So I just lived in
Yes.
the basement. And then they lived upstairs and they had 4 bedrooms, so they paid more. And then in the pandemic, I had new tenants stop paying. And then I got let go from my software job. So I hired myself and I had done business planning. That time I read good business books and get good mentors and coaches. So now I figured out what the 7 steps were. So it's you do your target resume. I did mine in '99, plan your career, and then start your main business stream as a club. Like I started Toronto Poets as a club in 2002. That's for market testing. And then 3 is read good business books and get good mentors and coaches. Like I read
Okay.
Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then 4 is to do business planning, and there's free apps for that. We also own phreapps.com, but it's just apps. You can find an app that does business planning. Do your business planning. And then 5 is work a strategic job that allows you to build your business on the side. Like when I worked at Microsoft or, Monera Solutions, like there's strategic jobs that help me build my business on the side. And if you work a job that is exclusive, you can then eventually switch to a job that you can work your business on the side. And
Yes.
then 6 is to register the business as a for-profit corporation. Because a lot of people, they think, oh, I want to do a business, so they go out and register the business. But you need to do market testing, the business name, the structure, all of those things. So that's the
Yes.
second last step. And then 7th, you could soar and live your God-given dreams, right? So if the 7th is, you beginning with that target as in mind, you keep working your plan, continuously making adjustments until it works. So I had to renovate my house because they found mold and it was conditioned on home inspection. I sold it. Oh, okay. So I sold it after I did the renovation for $1 million, and I
Wow.
retired at 45 to Antigua, be able to fund my scholarship program. So I'm the only one teaching all these 3 things: 7 biblical principles for success in life that won me 7 scholarships, enabling me to retire with $1 million exit at 45 to Antigua. 5 steps to freedom from emotional abuse and misuse and pre-engagement counseling, and 7 steps to entrepreneurship millions. I completed that by 45. There's no one else in the whole world like that.
Well, that is remarkable, Jason. That is so remarkable. And with your biblical principles, I must go back to when you mentioned the club, because Jesus had community. So, it wasn't just him, it was him and the 12 disciples, right?
Oh, for
So
sure.
he had community, he had a club. So that's
Yes, for
being one of the
sure.
biblical
Yes, he
principles.
started a club. He was looking for people, and he started a club,
He
and
had a,
he chose 12,
yeah,
and the main ones, but then one of them was a club.
yes. Oh,
Judas.
okay.
But yes, he had a club.
Yes, he
He had
had
a
a club.
bigger
So I
circle
thought,
after that too, but yes.
right, exactly. So I like the fact that one of your biblical principles can be seen through, Jesus and the disciples and being a club. And
Yeah,
so,
all of them are biblical.
yes, and it's great and amazing. And now that you felt like, retiring, and now you are a speaker, a coach, and you mentioned earlier it's important to have coaches and mentors. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Oh, for sure. Because when I didn't have, my dad was my academic coach, right? That's why when I got 97%, he asked me do I have any other degree because he knew I could do that. So that's why I was able to get 100%, and because I had a dad that knew, because he got marks like that. So he knew I could, and he taught me how. And for instance, one thing my dad did as a coach in grade 5, I wasn't always getting, you know, well, I was perfect. I didn't. There was only one time I got that in grade 10 math, but in grade 5, at first in grade 2, I was kind of slow, but I still, you know, passed everything. But I was kind of slow worker.
Mhm.
Caught up now, but I was kind of slow. But in grade 5, it's very important to have your parents involved, and even the single parents. It's very important to go to parent teacher meetings. Both my parents also always went. And in grade 5, I got my first D I'd gotten A's since they had the grades, and because they didn't have grades in grade one, right? They just had needs improvement or satisfaction or
Mhm.
whatever. But I got a D in gym, and it was a shock to me because I should have gotten an A. I did everything
Wow.
right, and my dad, he said, "Why did my son get a D in gym? What's he not do?" Because you
Yes.
only get a D in gym if you're not participating. If you don't, you at least
Mm,
get a C if
right.
you're trying, right?
Yeah.
And I was also run track. I played basketball. I played every sport. I was on the track team, cross country, long distance. That's the stuff. You're not lazy. If you're lazy, you don't do marathons, right? You don't do the cross country if you're because it's actually I was not lazy. So
Yes.
he was like, "How did my son get a D? What's he not do?" And then my teacher said, "Oh, that was a mistake. I meant to give him an A." And my dad
Ah.
said, "You gave my son a D instead of an A by mistake." And my teacher
Wow.
said, "Oh yeah." And my dad said, "Is there a South African accent?" And my teacher said, "Yes, I'm from South Africa." I mean, I said, "Wait a minute, let me get this straight. It's the first time our son has gotten a D. He's gotten A's since they had grades in grade two. And he's the first time
Yes.
he get a D. And the teacher that gave him a D instead of an A by mistake is from a country that have apartheid. And my teacher said, "Oh no, it's not because it's no relation. It was just a random error. I know your son is smart. I changed it to an A. And on top of that, I'm gonna send him for the gifted test again, and I'm gonna let him play the drums because there was only one person that got to play the drums, and I had already failed the gifted test in grade five, so this was in grade seven
Oh,
that this
wow.
happened. So I
Okay.
had failed the gifted test in grade five, and he had heard about it. And because my dad asked him why I got a D instead of an A by mistake, and he felt guilty, he said, "Oh, I know your son is wrong. So I'm sending for the gifted test again. Maybe he just had a bad day." And I'll tell you, the coaching comes in, and this is something everybody, all the parents and students, can understand about test writing. Okay, because a lot of parents don't ask their kids why they did fail to get a great mark or something. So I didn't pass the gifted test. And my dad asked me why. I said I didn't finish. I started doing it and I checked over that. And then after I did the first answer, I checked it over because I lacked confidence and it was right. And then I did
Oh,
number two. And then I lacked confidence again. And I checked it over and it was right. And I kept doing that the whole time, basically doing every question twice because I lack confidence. This is why people don't succeed in life. It's a lack of confidence. So that's why it's
wow.
good if your parents love you, they encourage you, they give you confidence. When you fail, right? They don't yell at you and say, "Oh, you're never gonna amount to anything. You drop your toy," and you, right? Because everybody fails, right? It's just like if you're learning to ride a bike or you fail at getting math right away, right? You need to be encouraged. So,
Exactly.
so I lack confidence. So my dad said that's not how you do a test. He's my coach. He said you race to the end, straight one all the way through to the end, like somebody's holding a gun to your head. And then if you finish on time, extra time, then you go back and start checking over from the beginning.
Oh,
So you
wow.
see how I needed
Yes.
a coach. So other parents that just, "Oh well, my son didn't pass the test." A lot of kids don't even get sent for a gifted test. Some people never even knew there was such a thing, right? So they just don't think that they're gifted, but everybody's gifted. You just need a coach.
Yes.
So because my dad told me how to write a test, some people have never gotten instruction on how to successfully write a test, and they say they have test anxiety, they don't do well on tests, but it's they just
Right.
have not learned how to write a test, and then they avoid doing
Exactly.
it, and then they get worse because but you have to practice under test conditions. This is the principle. You study under test conditions. So you have to time yourself when you study. No checking the phone, all of those things. No just like sipping on, your drinks and everything. You study. Set
You
a
need an
timer for an
umbrella there,
hour, the
Jason.
same amount of questions, right?
Yes.
Not at the desk. I ask these students where you do your math. One student told me he does it on his bed. The bed
Mhm.
is for the bed is not for doing your math. Your bed is for sleeping
Sleeping.
and doing the baby making thing, but you're not old enough to do that. Right? So I had to explain to him that's
Yes.
why you're not getting great marks in math because you'll fall asleep when you're doing the hard calculus. So
Exactly.
so
And
you
I
have to study
totally
at test conditions. So basically, to sum that up, that story, because my dad was my coach and he was there, he loved me, he encouraged me. told me how to write a test. I got a second chance because of God. That I got a D in A instead of A by mistake, and that's why I got to take it a second time. That time I was prepared because of the first failure, because failures are preparation for your success when you do again. So
Yes.
failures, you look at it in a positive way. It prepared you to not fail the next time, right? So that the next time I said, oh, a race to the end as fast as possible, even using that, like somebody's oil gun to my race to the end, no anxiety. I just knew I had
Yes.
to finish. And then I finished, and that time I passed. Some people,
Uh,
they haven't gotten to take the gifted test once, much less to twice with a coach. That see how
right.
critical coaching is? But I
I
didn't have a
see.
coach for an entrepreneurship coach or business coach because my dad wasn't an entrepreneur. He was an auditor, and he worked 9 to 5. And then when he lost his job, he drove taxi the last 25 years of his life, trying to hurt himself twice. So I knew to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't have a coach. So
Hmm.
then I got an entrepreneurship coach after crossing my house. I didn't have a coach to say, why are you making your voice a nonprofit? Why are you not doing business planning? Why are you not reading business books? Those three things. So then when I did those things, I retired a millionaire at 45.
Well, I am so excited for you to share that story with us and to share with us how you became successful. And that was one of the things that I learned over time. And have a professional license, and you have to take a test to get a professional license in the state. And so, therefore, it's like, well, the test is timed. You have to get a 75% or better. So, therefore, you already know going in, well, how many can I get wrong? But if you go in with the proper mindset, like you said earlier, having the right correct mindset and not having the crisis of confidence, I like to call it, lack of confidence, a crisis of confidence, then having the correct mindset helps you be successful as well. But of course, naturally, you also, is great that you mentioned having a coach and someone to share with you. It's like, this is how you do it. This is how we do it. This is how you can be successful. And of course, the various books that you have available through your websites, available, of course, on Amazon. And you have a whole section of books that you've
Oh,
read
it's on
to help.
penspowerclub.com.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
Amazon. So
Yes.
I when people say why isn't my book on Amazon, I say why isn't Jeff Bezos' book on penspowerclub.com?
Touche, touche. And in reading the books, and how long did it take you to go through the information that you felt that you needed to be a successful entrepreneur?
Oh wow, honestly, decades.
Decades.
Because I
So it's
started
not
reading the Bible
overnight.
December 1st, 1986. No, I started reading the Bible grade 3. Wrote my first book in grade 5. Um, Passed gets to test grade 7. Most of that sent it student grade 8. Got a high score in English, math, Latin, all French, accounting, world issues. I graduated valedictorian in '96, and then I worked at Microsoft Canada in '98, '99. Then I put my career in one document in 1999, target resume. That's the first step. And then I started the first club in 2002, Toronto Club.
Yes.
But then that decade, I didn't have a coach, and I didn't do business planning, and um, I didn't. The other thing that I didn't do that decade
And
was
that
I
made a
didn't read
difference.
business books. I didn't read
Yes.
entrepreneurship books at all. At all,
Reading
not even
business
one.
books. Yes.
Right. So I read a couple business books in business studies, but they're not for entrepreneurship. Not much more so. They're in economics, macroeconomics, microeconomics,
Mhm.
marketing, but no entrepreneurship books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Law of Success. Launch My Dream by Dale Partridge is the best one because he has a business like me, manages
So
online.
so when you're
Dale by
thinking
Dale
about
Partridge.
Dream by Dale Partridge, you said launching your dream. What have you dreamed about, and what's been successful with you in accomplishing what you've had a dream about in your dreams and
So
desires?
I just dream about helping people, but the way I dream about helping people is with biblical principles because a lot of people think that a lot of people misusing and abusing and confusing the Bible. They think it's just to abuse people. Like if like a physical is imagery, is they would be using the Bible like like a like a slave whip. They think it's like to
Oh,
whip to whip people, right? So I had to
right.
show people, no, this is how you use the Bible. I don't whip people with it. I don't beat people up that are different or believe different because I can't even. I don't even meet people in person for the school. It's all online, right? So the thing is, I had to show them because they're thinking that the biblical principles mean you don't can't make money, or because people misinterpret scripture and they say um, money is the root of all kinds of evil. But no, it says the
Mhm.
love of money is the root
Right.
of all kinds of evil. So you
Exactly.
love money more than God and think because people they think the money makes the world go round, but no, God does. So I wanted to show people that all of these books,
Yes.
they're using biblical principles, and they want to sell to a wider market, so they don't say. But I say, because I don't have to care about selling more than giving God glory and honor. And I've been reading the Bible since I had my first one, the Gideons gave me in grade 3. They said, if you read a little bit of this book every day, God will bless you, right?
Yes.
I believed it, received it, and God achieved it. So I wanted to show people that it works if you work it. But a lot of people, they're using it as slave whip to whip people that don't believe it, or they're using it. Oh, oh wait, too quiet. Okay, let me go. Are there seats outside? Okay, I can see them. So
Okay.
let me relocate outside. So they're using it to whip
Mhm.
people and not to help people. So I
Mhm.
thought I would show people how to do it, use it to help people, right? So I use it to help people by breaking it down, and instead of people having to read all over 100 books, they can just learn the 7 principles in my book course because it's a lot simpler
Mhm.
and it's a lot clearer, and then it's one source, one time, instead of reading over 100 books. They can read over 100 books too. I list them at penspowerclub.com. I list a lot of them, but I list like the top 7 or so. But all of the principles are at freedomacademy.com listed. And my book course is one course, 25 years of my best poetry with questions after, and it teaches those 7 biblical principles for success. So that's easier than reading all the others. You can do both, but it's a lot easier just to buy my book.
Exactly. Well, I do thank you so much, Jason, and for making it possible to be with me tonight here on Power Fridays Live. You have a very powerful message, and I'm so glad that you're taking it to the masses, and I'm so glad that we can be a platform for you to continue to share your success. At freedomacademy.com, we've been scrolling the penspowerclub.com on this video most of the night. And I do appreciate everything that your dad taught you because it makes a difference to come from parents who are involved in your life to help you be successful and to have you do things in a certain way to where you can look in and observe and you can see, well, why did this not work for me? Someone else can look and, like you said, a coach, and having your dad as your academic coach that did make a difference for you. So we do encourage everyone to listen to all of the 7 biblical principles for success on Jason. Check out the replay, write it down, and look at the opportunities to plan your work and work your plan.
Thank
Is
you so much for
any
having me. Sorry I had to move because I sold my house twice for the Freedom Academy and setting up everything. And so
Yes.
now but they said, look, the Bible says you'll get houses and all sorts of things you didn't buy. So everybody's house is my house now. But
I
then I have to
know.
move if they ask me to move, right?
Right, exactly. No worries. And I love how you said that you can mow your lawn for free and borrow in the neighbor's lawnmower. I was like, that's fun. That was funny, but it was amazing. It's like, yeah, the neighbor already had the gas in the mower, and you just used it, and bam, you mowed your lawn for free. So that was very creative there, Jason.
Well,
So
God
you
gives you
find
creativity if you
I,
think about it, right?
he's
So yeah,
the
because I was moving that day, so I'm not gonna buy another lawnmower to mow my lawn one time, right?
right, exactly. And as we know, the creator in us, and he made us to be creative as well. So, and we can speak what we want. We can speak life to our situation and all of that. And so I'm very grateful. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight. Any final words that you would like to share with the audience? And if you're watching this for the first time, if you're watching this on replay, please do, share that you're
Yeah.
watching it on replay. If you have any questions for Jason, you can reach him at freedomacademy.com.
Yes. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. Thank you so much. I would just say one thing that all the small, even the small kids can understand: strategy.
Yes.
Is work first, play after. Because if you play first, you still have to work after, but you still fail. But if you
Yes.
get to play after prevail, that's how we're attacked 45.
Work first, play after. So we'll share that, and that is the ultimate strategy for success. So thank you so much, Jason. I do want to share with the audience: be, do, and have the greatness that you desire, because the greatness is in you. We do thank you so much for joining us here on Power Fridays Live each and every Friday night. And thank you so much, and take
Thank
care,
you
and
so
God
much.
bless.
You're great. Bye. After the dream
Bye.
comes the plan. Think freely.
Thank you.